that song that just went off, a hero. The hero lies inside of you. That's a nice song right there. And that's what we have to see in ourselves for us to do this job. And we have to see the hero inside of us. We have to see the heroic actions. Some brothers, you put your life on the line speaking this truth. Sisters too. You have to, the strength that lies in you, the strength that it takes to speak to another person about the faults that they have, and then, be willing to go into the scriptures and take the time out to help them. I think a lot of us, we do that and not really realize what type of person does that. That's the real hero. Not so much as what you see now, the American Sniper Team or FBI or a fireman. I recently saw in the news, somebody's son jumped in front of 3 girls, got himself killed. Truth be told, that's not heroic. Okay. But I mean, it's a touchy situation. Nobody wants to lose a child. And I know that this world has programmed us into thinking that acts like that make the real hero. We are the heroes. Those that stand still from the scriptures. Those that teach and preach men so. Those that have sacrificed their lives to set an example. To whatever degree. And I know some may just think, well, only, the heads, the rulers, or bishops, deacons, pastors, teachers, prophets, evangelists, elders can take that. But it's for all Israel. That's the only way you're going to be able to do this. It's for you to realize that you are somebody special and unique. You're the hero that the Most High has sent to the earth. You're the help. So as we go through the scriptures, you have to mentally assume a position so that you could put yourself in a situation or put your mind, in the right place so that you can continue to be heroic, continue to do the job and do the relieving of oppression and affliction that you see, in your people. And it's true that before you could help them, you got to constantly help yourself. And that's why I said, you got to sometimes look in the mirror and evaluate how strong you are and the strength that lies within you. Then you got to feed off that strength. Okay, this is Second Ezra, the 8th chapter. We'll start there. And read the 36th verse.
Second Ezra, chapter 8, and verse 36. For in this, O Lord, thy righteousness and thy goodness shall be declared. If thou be merciful unto them which have not the confidence of good works.
Okay, read it again.
Verse 36. For in this, O Lord, thy righteousness and thy goodness shall be declared. If thou be merciful unto them which have not the confidence of good works.
So Ezra is asking the Most High to be merciful unto those that have not the confidence. Okay. So our job is to build the confidence of Yahshua. Build the confidence in our people. Okay. How do we build their confidence? By teaching them and encouraging them. Not just shoving the law down their face. That ain't going to never work. Okay? The first thing has to happen is they have to have an example. And they have to have an example that, are you confident in yourself? What type of person are you? Are you a bum? When I say, are you a bum, I'm not talking about your clothes. I'm talking about your spirit. Are you raggedy? Are you doing the wrong things? Because you yourself lack confidence. But you're quoting scriptures and trying to teach somebody. But you're breaking the laws. That's no hero. You're not. You don't show up to save. Heroes save people. Heroes save lives. Heroes, they save families. They save men. They teach men how to be men. They teach men how to avoid the judgment from the Most High. And they teach them how to be husbands and fathers. That's what a hero is. And that hero lies in you. You got to bring it out. You have to go inside yourself and you have to search for that decent part about you that wants to do right, that has the ability to do right. And you have to use the scriptures and others around you, counterparts, to give yourself the confidence that it needs to excel. So it said, if thou be merciful unto them which have not confidence of good works. So if the Most High being merciful unto us, then what is he going to do? He's going to give us confidence. And in giving us confidence, then we shall then begin to have success in those things to where we once stumbled and failed. Those things that we wasn't successful. But it takes a decision that we've got to make. We've got to make a decision that that's what we want to do. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 37. Then answered he me and said, some things hast thou spoken aright, and according unto thy words it shall be.
Right. What shall be? He's going to give them confidence. He's going to be merciful unto them. Okay? But here's the thing. What he's not going to do, he's not going to give you a pass if you continue to be a bum. I'll give you an example of what a bum is. A bum is somebody that sees a person in need and help and walks by him. A bum is somebody that sees somebody that needs help and they take out the video camera and they start taping and filming instead of doing what? Instead of helping them. That's a bum. That's what I mean by a bum. You're not doing anything to help. Okay? But a hero would see this person need help and then go over and do what? He will go over and he would minister to him. Let me find that example. It just comes to mind. It's about maybe y'all can help me, you brothers can help me. The guy got beat up. I'll find it up. Let me think. Told the man to take him. Yeah, Luke 10. Told him take him and put him in the inn. That's it. Luke chapter 10 and no, you got to start before that. Start verse 25.
Luke chapter 10 and verse 25. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? He said unto him, What is written in the law? How readest thou? And he answered and said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. And he said unto him, Thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live. But he, willing to justify himself, said unto Yahushua, And who is my neighbor?
So he understood certain things, but he wanted to know who can he deal right with. So he came out and he said, well, who is my neighbor? Because if Yahushua is saying that he was willing to justify himself, he wanted to pick and choose who he can associate with, who he can deal righteously with. Okay.
Verse 30. And Yahushua answered and said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves.
Right, so he walked up into a situation to where it was some bad men around. We do that all the time. All you got to do is walk down the street, and you can end up in the wrong neighborhood. You just like trying to catch the bus, or, some people on the bus, some people walk, some people ride a bike, some people drive. You get out of your car, and now you end up in a situation among thieves. They some bad men, and they steal too. Go ahead.
Which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way.
A certain priest. Notice the guy's a priest, so he teaches the Bible.
And when he saw him, he passed by on the other side.
See that? So he avoided the guy. And these days, what will we do? We take out the cell phone and we start recording it and put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, tweet it. We do some crazy stuff like that. That's a bomb. That's what I mean by a bomb. Go ahead.
Verse 32. And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side.
That's also a bomb. Notice, these are people that know the difference between right and wrong. They know the scriptures. A priest and a Levite. These guys are bombs. That's why don't be a bomb. Okay? So the opposite of doing this would be a hero. Come on.
Verse 33. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him, and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pennies, and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Which now of these 3 thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves?
Right. Which one of these guys, which out of the 3 do you think was a neighbor to him? Okay, that's what he's asking the guy that is justifying himself. Because he gave him an example of somebody that saved a man, and he gave him 2 examples And these had to be real stories. 2 examples of men that avoided them. So that's not my business. They walked past. Maybe for fear, they kept going. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 37.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he that showed mercy on him. Then said Yahushua unto him, go, and do thou likewise.
Go and be a hero, is what he said. Don't be a coward. Don't be a bum. Okay? So we understand the difference, what I mean now. Okay? So let's go back.
Back to 2nd Ezra, chapter 8.
And start at verse 37 again.
In verse 37. Then answered he me, and said, some things hast thou spoken aright, and according unto thy words it shall be. For indeed I will not think on the disposition of them which have sinned before death, before judgment, before destruction. But I will rejoice over the disposition of the righteous, and I will remember also their pilgrimage, and the salvation, and the reward that they shall have.
So the Lord is saying that he will rejoice over our disposition. Okay? Us turning back to him. He'll remember the pilgrimage. He'll remember the things that we have traveled to get to where we are in life. Okay? He'll remember by seeing how we grew and how we changed and how we evolved and how we went from a selfish person to a spiritual person, a strong person, okay, a person with confidence, a person with strength. That's what the Most High is saying. And the salvation, okay, how we were able to help ourselves and also save others too, okay, and the reward. Okay, so now I want us to jump over to the first verse, because this is where it starts.
2nd Ezra, chapter 8, and verse 1. And he answered me, saying, the Most High had made this world for many, but the world to come for few.
Right, so this is being explained to Ezra. Was Ezra a hero? You better believe it. Okay, so the same thing that was being spoken to him is the same thing that's being said to us. That's why you see so many people doing so many different things. You can turn on the TV and you see just about anything. Anything and everything. People doing what they want to do. The government changing laws, making laws, changing men to women, and changing women to men. Marrying, bestiality is not a sin as long as you get a license. There are people that are marrying animals, having weddings. You're just about going to see everything and anything. Don't be surprised. So if you ever wonder what life was like in ancient worlds, you're living in a society. You're living unto the same people. They know who they are. They know their history and their genetics and DNA and everything else that they think they inherited. The only thing they inherited was lies and money. But the same spirit that ruled their foreparents is the same spirit that ruled them. And in this world, time has got worse and worse. And instead of things being on the down low, they're out in the open now. So this is some hell of an experience. that y'all experiencing. And it takes somebody strong to turn this down and to say no to it. But y'all are the strong ones. Y'all are the ones that do it. And you deserve immortality for getting it done. What has to happen is you got to keep doing it. Okay? So because the world that's going to come, ain't none of this going to be around. Okay? None of the Hellenistic days, paganistic days, none of religions, none of it. No foolishness. It's gonna be an acceptable environment, man. It's gonna be a perfect environment. The Most High is gonna see to that, because we're gonna be the ones that's in authority. That word that's gonna come is gonna be for few. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 2. I will tell thee a similitude, Ezra, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of.
Okay, read it again now.
Verse 2. I will tell thee a similitude, Ezra, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, but dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world.
Right. So have you ever saw, what's the name of that picture I was watching last night where they were digging up the gold and they got to filter it and stuff like that? Gold rush. So what they do is, like it's gold in certain parts of the earth and you can't see it. I mean, it's like tiny particles. And so Esau has created these big, heavy machines that they just take, dump loads. Like I think one guy, he was running maybe the size of 150 football fields of dirt, trying to get maybe a jar jelly jam full of, if half of that, of gold. So a lot of gold, right now they've dug a lot of it up, but now it's like dust that's still in certain parts, and that's how they get it. The name of the show is called Gold Rush. So when you read this is an example of what they're talking about. Okay, so our foreparents even knew that, and the angel is telling Ezra that, so he knows that those dust particles of gold is in the earth. So it says, what is that? 2, it says, I will tell you a similitude, Ezra, as when thou ask the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mold, wherein earthen vessels are made. Okay, so much mold is talking about the rock, the clay, stuff like that. You can find that in abundance. Okay, it says but little dust. Yes. So if y'all get a chance to check that show out, it's called Gold Rush, you'll see the difference. You see all of those dirt and all of that rock, and you don't see no gold in there. But it's that little dust, that gold coming. Even so is the course of this present world. Okay, so the similitude to the gold and to the mold, it's like the people that are gonna be in the kingdom to come will be like the dust, and the earth vessels is like right now. It's a lot. Verse 3.
Verse 3. There be many created, but few shall be saved.
Right. Few. We got to remember, what's written. When he destroyed the whole earth before, he only left 8 souls. And he gave them time to replenish the earth. So he knows when he say few, yeah, it's going to be few. Okay, so with that being said, we don't have time to play around, because our lifetime, the only thing that we need to focus on is our lifetime. Okay, how much time do we have? So we need to wake up out of sleep and make sure that the life that we live is going to be according to the scriptures, and that we're going to do the right thing and make the right decisions and strengthen ourselves, turn our weaknesses into strengths by understanding the experiences that the Most High put before us, and not let those things destroy us, but let them reprove us and let them show us that the Most High, He is not to be tempted, because when He is tried, what happens? He reprove it. He will reprove us. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 4. So answered I and said, swallow them down, O my soul, understanding, and devour wisdom.
So that's what Ezra said to himself. And a lot of times that's what's being said to us that we need to do. We need to swallow down and understand and devour wisdom. I mean straight smash it. How do you devour wisdom? That means you accept it. What's being shown to you, what's being taught to you, what's being told to you. Okay, the exhortation, the warnings, the precepts, the scriptures, the classes, the feast days, the life, the examples, things you see in the news, things that you see in the flesh. All of those things bring some form of wisdom to you. Now you have to learn what not to do and learn what to do using the scriptures. You cannot be like, oh, well, I wish that this didn't exist. I wish that I didn't know this. I saw somebody on social media personally that I know, and they had that picture on, had Merry Christmas, the whole 9 yards. I just shook my head. Because that person, I said to myself, that person, they just elected to go back to sleep. They said, the hell with it. I'm just going to give in to it. And they're going to pay for that. They're going to pay for that. And everybody that they know and everybody that they taught that lesson to and taught that bad example to, they're going to be accountable for those people, because instead of being a bomb, they're supposed to have been a hero to somebody. They're supposed to save somebody's life. Okay, what is it?
I appreciate
Okay, what is it about?
Verse 14. You can start in verse 14.
Okay, you got it, Yashar.
Yeah.
What does it say?
And he said, unto you is given
Okay. So you can go ahead and explain what you see.
All right. So
this is Luke chapter 8 and verse 10. And he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of God, but to others in parables, that seeing they might not see, and hearing they might not understand. Verse 11. Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of God. Those by the wayside are they that hear. Then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. They on the rock are they, which when they hear, receive the word with joy. And these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation fall away.
And that's what I want to say. The person that preached the scriptures, he started off preaching and he believed with joy and teaching people, and people believing in him and the words that he's saying. And before you know it, he got on a Christmas outfit, and he was in the latter precept of 13. And it says, and these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation fall away. Then they fall away from the word of the Most High that was received.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's go back.
Back to 2 Ezra, chapter 8,
Verse 5.
and verse 5. For thou hast agreed to give ear, and art willing to prophesy. For thou hast no longer space than only to live.
Stop. Read it again.
Verse 5. For thou hast agreed to give ear, and art willing to prophesy. For thou hast no longer space than only to live.
Who is that talking? Who is that talking? That's Uriah's talking, and he's telling that to Ezra. Okay, so now I'm telling y'all that. Read it again.
Verse 5. For thou hast agreed to give ear.
So when we come here, we have agreed to give ear. Like Ezra agreed to give ear to Uriah. Okay? Agreed to give ear to the commandments. Okay? Go ahead.
And are willing to prophesy.
And are willing to prophecy. So that's what we're doing. We say, well, hey, I'll do it. Come on.
For thou hast no longer space than only to live.
For thou hast no longer space than to live. Remember, this was said earlier. Who remember what was said earlier? It's being said here. What did I say earlier about your life?
Like you were saying that we're not supposed to be bummed by, setting.
Not the bum thing.
Okay.
It's going to go too far off.
Oh, you were saying that we're supposed to be heroes.
No, not that. You don't know. Y'all missed it. You missed it because you take everything, you take things for granted. I said that our life, that we're supposed to be following and making sure that we apply it, because, and make sure I get it right, something on the line of, this is the only thing that we have left. Is to walk in the scriptures and so on and so forth. That the time is short. Remember that. I said that the time is short. And we've got to make sure that we can't worry about nothing else. We have to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do. Okay? Sometimes we shooting for the end of the world, and all you have is your life. You understand? Like we're shooting for the kingdom. We don't know when the Most High going to send Christ. But what you do know is that you're supposed to be keeping these laws. So with that being said, the time for us may be different from the time the Most High. That we have to assume that it is different. And assuming that it is, and knowing that it is different, that our space we got to get with it. It's got to get on and popping. You got to get your life on and cracking because time don't wait for nobody. It's not stopping. So this angel told Ezra the same thing that I just told us. Read that last part again.
Last precept of verse 5. For thou hast no longer space.
But thou hast no longer space. So you might think that you got all this time. I got time to do this. I got time to do that. No. The only time you got to this to do what? Then only to live. You understand? Only to live. Like you ever heard somebody say, "Don't make me waste my what? Don't make me waste my time." Okay. In other words, maybe time is short for you. Then don't make me waste my time. Time is short. So if you got time only to live, then you need to spend your time while you're living doing what? This. You don't need this. You can't spend time doing nothing else. So this is how we need to spend our time. This is the mind state that we have to be in. Okay. Let's call it. Let's continue.
Verse 6. O Lord, if thou suffer not thy servant, that we may pray before thee, and thou give us seed unto our hearts.
So now Ezra is responding. He's asking, he's saying, if thou suffer not thy servant, meaning if you don't stop us, allow us to pray before thee, that thou give us seed to our heart. Because a lot of people, their heart, what does a seed do?
It grows.
It grows. That's right, it grows. A lot of people, their mind don't grow. So now, we started off being heroes, and we're going to continue to be heroes, and we're going to be heroes the whole class. So I want you to stay with me and pay attention. So we are heroes the whole class. Who are we referring to when we're asking the Lord to give seed to somebody? Who are we referring to when we're asking the Lord to give seed to somebody? It says, O Lord, if thou suffer not thy servant, in other words, don't stop me, that we may pray before thee. We want to pray unto you, Lord, that thou give us seed in our heart. Okay? So now let's assume that we already have seed in our heart. Who are we asking the Lord to give seed to?
The person we're trying to help.
The Israelites, the people that we're trying to help. Because in this class today and tomorrow forward, we're standing in the role of what? The heroes. And we have to ask the Most High to help the people. Right? Everybody understand? Because their mind do not what? And seeds what? And a lot of people's mind do not what? Their mind don't grow. They don't change. So we have to ask the Most High to help them. That's what makes the difference. That's how we make a difference. That's how we spend our lives. Okay? Helping it has nothing to do with the giving of gifts and money and no. Okay? You got to know how to be this type of person that the Most High is asking you to be. And in doing so, you're going to save yourself in having that type of character and also helping others too. Okay? Come on.
And culture to our understanding.
That's right. In culture to our understanding. What is culture? Okay.
Like that we need in the truth, like commemorating cultures and
it says to our understanding. Okay, culture to our understanding. Go ahead.
It's dealing with action, like action verb. Culture to our understanding. The things we understand is knowing that we're supposed to be heroes and having to see and walking in the application of the commandments. So he asking for culture to that, to where we do it lawfully with a right example in Christ.
Okay. also known as style. Let me get this. Let's see if we can get the dictionary. Okay. So it says culture. The quality in a person or society that arises from a certain for what is regarded as excellent in arts, letters, manners, scholarly pursuits. That which is excellent in art. Development or improvement of the mind by education or training. So that's a good one. Development or improvement of the mind by education or training. Okay. The product or growth resulting from such cultivation. Okay, so we will use, what did I say, style? Okay, let's use development or improvement of the mind. Okay, and manners. So we ask the Most High to give culture to the minds. Culture to the minds of the people. Okay. Style. Like if you see a certain nation and you say, oh, that's their culture, you know that what they do is different from others. They have a style, they have a certain look, a twist on maybe how they wear their clothes, how they wear their head covers, how they wear. It's different things about them that makes them appear to be different. And we know that as what? Style. That's what made me say style, right? Okay. We know that it's style. Okay. So now, when you look up the definition, and it says that which is excellent in arts, manners, okay, manners is one, and then another one says development of improvement of the mind by education or training. Israel don't have a problem with style. Israel have a problem with education. Okay, that's what we have a problem with. Education or training, improvement of our mind. We have a problem with manners. So when we ask the Most High to give culture to our mind, or we're asking the Most High to give culture to their mind, keep that in mind, that's what it's referring to, okay? What you want to say?
A way of life is culture.
A way of life, okay. Well, we've got a way of life in the Scripture. So once they learn that way of life, then they need to add improvement of their mind state unto the way that's written in the Scriptures, okay? You understand it? The way, Christ is the truth, the way is in the Scriptures. Okay. So let's continue. Tell us where you at.
Saying Ezra chapter 8 in the third precept, that there may come fruit of it. How shall each man live that is corrupt? Who bears the place of a man?
Stop for a second. You said 8 and what?
I'm sorry, 6.
Just start from the top.
All right. Second Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 6. O Lord, if thou suffer not thy servant, that we may pray before thee, and thou give us seed unto our heart, and culture to our understanding.
All right, so give us that our mind may grow, and give us culture to our understanding, which the culture would be development, improvement of the mind by education or training. Okay, give us that. So give that to them. Give that to them. Because we're going to take not Ezra's place, but we're going to think like he thinks. We understand? And this is what we look for. This is what we desire for our people. Come on.
That there may come fruit of it.
There may come fruit of it. You see, change of it. Change of that mind. change of that person, that brother, change of that sister, change of that wife, change for that husband, and even change for the children, that those children may have their mind fruitful and that their mind may develop and they may begin to have manners and that their beliefs may change into the beliefs of the scriptures and not the ways of the world, that they may not go after the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, which was never of the Father, but it has always been of the world. Since the diabolical nation of Esau has infiltrated us and corrupted all up into destruction. Okay? Go ahead.
How shall each man live that is corrupt? Who bears the place of a man?
You see that? How shall each man live that is corrupt? Meaning, Israel, we cannot live if we corrupt it. Okay? We should know that. Right? Do y'all know that? Do y'all actually know that if man doesn't change, he ain't going to be able to live? Okay? When y'all see our people, you've got to know that. But first, you've got to be fully persuaded in yourself that, hey, I can't be considered special, unique, peculiar, righteous if my faith does not excel to where it's going to be fruit, it's going to bring forth the fruits of repentance that show that I'm a new person. Okay? Everybody wants to be labeled somebody special without doing it. And you got to do it. Right? Yeah, you got to do it. You got to put in the work. Come on.
Verse 7. For thou art alone, and we are one workmanship of thine hands, like as thou hast said. For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, and thou givest it members, thy creature is preserved in fire and water.
So now it's going into the creation. Let's just say it's going into the birth of a child. I want you to imagine the creation of yourself. And now it's going to show you and tell you, the way we're going to picture this is the birth of yourself, our birth. But not the birth in the womb as a baby, but this birth in the truth. How you came to be the person that's here today. Okay, so it says, for thou art alone, and we all are one workmanship of thy hands. For the Most High created you. The Most High built you to be the one that you are. Okay? I still got it. It's just like as thou hast said. Okay? For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, okay, and thou givest it members, thy creature is preserved in fire and water. So how was we preserved? How did we get to this point to where we at? Tests and trials in the scriptures. The fire represents the tests and the trials. All the things that you've been through, all the learning experiences, the stuff that you got wrong, the mistakes that you made, all those were tests. And then you felt them. And then that water came, which is the word, and it put that fire out. It shows you now how to be spiritual. So I'm showing you how you became to be the person that you are. Okay, now pick it from there.
In 9 months doeth thy workmanship endure.
Stop. 9 months? Okay. So now some of us, we've been around for years. Represents your time and space in the truth. Because you know that a fetus actually has to go through that fire and water inside the womb. Some women, man, some women, they can go and they can exercise. They can even still work. And some can do nothing. Because the fetus in their womb is fragile. So they be on bed rest, they can't do nothing. They can't be under stress. They can't do certain movements. If they do all of these things, you know what's going to happen, man? And that fetus going to abort. It's fragile. So it goes through a lot of tests and trials. Some women's pregnancy, people think that it's just smooth. Some is very fragile. And some, some go smooth and some don't. But like our life in the truth has to endure that fire and that water. And it has to endure a time period. Okay? It has to go through certain things. Now, how do y'all like it? When I say how do you like it, meaning we could apply through faith, okay, and make things easy, or we could learn the hard way by being rebellious, and then the Most High said unsavory, right? That's what you said, yeah. And then the Most High will show Himself to be unsavory. Okay. So it says, endure that creature which is created in her, verses 9.
Verse 9. But that which keepeth and is kept shall both be preserved.
But that which keepeth and is kept shall both be preserved. But that which keepeth and is kept. So now this is for the person that what? That's doing it. Okay? That's doing it. That, yes, this is talking about the birth of a fetus, but we were born again in Christ. Like Yahushua had to tell Nicodemus that you must be born again. And Nicodemus was wondering, how can one be born again? Can he enter into his mother's womb a second time and be born? He said, no. This birth comes from the Father. And coming from the Father, we mentally start over with our spirit. And we start learning. And when we do, and we keep ourselves, but that which keep it and is kept shall both be preserved. Okay, so we will be preserved when we do what? When we keep ourselves. When we learn this and we keep ourselves. When we stay, making sure that we're applying the word of the Most High. We're applying the scriptures. Okay, this is how we preserve ourselves. All right, go ahead.
And when the time cometh, the womb preserved delivered up the things that grew in it.
And when the time cometh, the womb preserved delivered up the things that grew in it. So it's going to come a time, just like you can't stop a baby from coming forth. I mean, when it's time, it doesn't matter where you at. It doesn't matter what you do. You could be laying down. You could be on a bus. You could be driving. You could be walking. And that water will break, and that baby will start falling out of you, man. It don't matter. That's how it's going to be. Okay, that's how it's going to be for those that the Most High say, man, when that day and hour and that time comes, man, nobody going to be able to stop it. Nobody ain't going to be able to stop it. You're going to come forth. You're going to receive your kingdom. Okay? I'm comparing that to that. You're going, not so much, well, you got to die, it's this, you that. No, I'm talking about the inheritance where the Father said, you're going to receive your kingdom. Israel is going to take this world, take this planet, and they're going to possess it. when it's time come forth, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get it, and nobody's going to be able to stop you. The events are going to happen like clockwork. Okay? Come on now.
Verse 10. For thou hast commanded out of the parts of the body, that is to say, out of the breast, milk to be given, which is the fruit of the breast.
Oh, okay. No. I'm sorry. Read it again.
Verse 10. For thou hast commanded out of the parts of the body, that is to say, out of the breast, milk to be given, which is the fruit of the breast.
For thou hast commanded out of the parts of the body, that is to say, out of the breast, milk to be given, which is the fruit of the breast. Translate that. Translate that. What is that saying? In the aspect that we've been dealing in. For thou hast commanded out of the parts of the body, that is to say, out of the breast, milk to be given, which is the fruit of the breast. Okay, what do you think, Jamie?
I think that we have our sin. I think that when it says body, those are the different bodies of fellowship that we get, and that is to say, out of the breast, it's the mirth of the word of the Most High. Milk to be given, we minister unto those who haven't heard the word or haven't come into fellowship with the body, yet the members.
Right, that's right.
And which is the fruit of the breast. Okay.
Right. You're saying abstract, huh? Right, you got it right. For thou hast commanded. Okay. So we're in that position to where we're in the saving business. Okay? The Lord commanded out of the parts of the body. That is to say, out of what? The breast. So we will be called the breast of the body. Milk to be given. Okay? That's what's going to happen. That's what has to happen. Milk to be given. And we to feed our people. Okay? And yes, Israel's a lot of characters. But regardless of what type of person you deal with, you have to go into the scriptures and you have to feed them with milk and not with meat. Show them what they should be doing, opposed to what they think they should be doing. You feed them with milk. Okay, verse 11.
Verse 11. That the thing which is fashioned may be nourished for a time.
That the thing which is fashioned, it may be what? It may be nourished. Okay, that it may be nourished. So the whole objective for the people is for what?
To be nourished.
That's right, to be nourished. Okay, for a time. What time? Read the latter part; it'll help you.
Till thou disposest it to thy mercy.
Till thou disposest it into thy mercy. Okay, until they understand. Right. That's the job. But we got to get our strength up to do that. Everybody agree? And where is the strength at? The strength in Christ. And where is Christ? Inside of us. Right? So you have to go inside of yourself, man, and you got to pull that part that's right out. And you got to build on that. All right? Come on.
Verse 12. Thou broughtest it up with thy righteousness.
Right. So what's going to build that person up? The righteousness. Okay, that's what's going to build them up. The righteousness that the Most High He gave to us. He showed to us. He revealed to us. And when we explain it to others and we show them, then they're going to be able to see the righteousness of God. They're going to be able to see that righteousness inside of us. And they shall be brought up. Okay? Come on.
And nurture it in thy law.
And nurture it in thy law. So what do you nurture people with?
Law, statutes, commandments, and judgments.
That's right. With the laws. You nurture them with the laws. Regardless of how they look and who they are. Or what they're saying. You have to nurture them with the law. You show them the laws. Say, hey, now, do they always grow in front of you? The answer is no. Because it's what that you're trying to plant?
The seed.
It's a seed. And you pray that the Most High would even give them that seed. Because it comes from Him. Right? It don't come from man. It comes from the Most High. Okay? Hold this and get Ecclesiasticus. Verse 1.
Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, and verse 1. All wisdom cometh from the Lord.
All right, so it don't come from us. It comes from Him. Come on.
And is with Him forever.
And is with Him forever. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, First Ezra 4. First Ezra 4 should be 59. Please.
First Ezra, chapter 4, and verse 59. And it said, from thee cometh victory. From thee cometh wisdom.
From thee cometh wisdom. Okay, from the Most High cometh wisdom. All right, the young man lifted up his face towards Jerusalem and prayed to the Most High, who's the King. Come on.
And mine is the glory, and I am thy servant.
Come on.
Blessed art thou, who hast given me wisdom.
So the point is, it's the Most High that gives them the seed. Okay? Because we could talk and think that we're planting the seed and ain't nothing there. You understand? It's the Most High that's going to do it. The truth be told. It's the Most High that's going to make it grow. All right?
For to thee I give thanks.
For Him we give thanks. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, the Most High, in the name of Christ, our Lord, the Lord of our fathers. All right? So let's go back.
Back to 2 Ezra, chapter 8,
Verse 14.
and verse 14. If therefore thou shalt destroy him, which with so great labor was fashioned.
No, we skipped something.
Verses
Verses 12. Just start there.
Verse 12. Thou broughtest it up with thy righteousness, and nurturest it in thy law, and reformest it with thy judgment. And thou shalt mortify it as thy creature.
So we'll back up. It says, thou boughtest it up with righteousness, and nourish it with thy law, and reforms it with thy judgment. Who did He do like that? He did us like that, right? He reformed us. Okay? Think about how you've changed. And think about the changes, the things that took place in your life for you to change. The discipline, the correction and rebuke, the rejection, okay, the cuts, all right? And these things happen until we get reformed. It says, and reform is it with judgment. Okay? And this is something else. If you don't notice that, a lot of times a person, they don't change until they get judged. It takes judgment to do what? To convince and persuade you that God is not mine. Don't let that happen unto you to where the Most High has to judge you in order for you to be reformed. But it happens to some of us. Yeah, we got to stay woke up. Today we're heroes. I ain't going to say you better wake up. We have to stay woke. How's that? That's better, right? We have to stay woke. And even the things as we continue to grow and learn, don't sleep on. Because you got only to do what? You got only to live. You ain't got time for nothing else. Go ahead. Verse 13 now.
Verse 13. And thou shalt mortify it as thy creature.
And thou shalt mortify it as thy creature, and quicken it as thy work. So to mortify something is what? Put it to death. Okay? So he does that because he cares about us. The Most High is going to put to death our old ways. He's going to cleanse and change and make and deaden and make void our old behavior. Okay? He's going to do that as thy creature. Because the creature that the Most High is creating is a righteous creature, one that behaves, one that doesn't waver, that doesn't go back and forth, one that's not a hypocrite, one that's not rebellious and stubborn and arrogant and proud and haughty. So he's going to quicken it. Okay? Just like I'll give you an example. You ever seen gotta use something. You ever seen somebody say, you act like that's something, and then like that's something dear to you, right? You ever that person, you act like that person is, that's somebody dear to you. So the Most High is doing that to us like we somebody dear to him, to mortify us. Well, we are somebody dear to him. That's why he's mortifying us. That's why he's changing us. And in doing so, then we're going to do that to each other. Right? Where can we find that at? Where we're going to do it to each other. Where can we find that at?
Ephesians 4. Ephesians 4 and I want to say 16, but no.
Let's get to the point.
12 and 13.
The one I'm looking for is in Colossians, though.
Okay.
Colossians 3 and 5.
Colossians chapter 3 and verse 5. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth.
See that? So as the Lord did it to us, okay, That's what we're going to do. We're going to do it to each other. We're going to mortify our members which are around us. Okay, wherever we at. What is the problem with them? Read.
Fornication.
They're dealing in fornication. So you're going to have to tell them what fornication is. It's courting, brother. No, brother, you fornicate. You ain't to touch nobody. You keep your hands to yourself. You ain't supposed to be lusting, brother. You ain't supposed to be looking. This could get into, because Israel, brother, Israel is so hard-headed and they're so rebellious, they would tell you to leave them alone. They'll be, they'll do that to you. And then let it be no surprise that they don't listen to you. The Most High says, they don't listen to me. To the children of Israel, they would not hearken unto you. Said, they would not hearken unto me. All right? I'll read it. Ezekiel 3:7. But the house of Israel will not hearken unto you, for they will not hearken unto me. That's what the Most High said. For all the house of Israel are imprudent and hard-headed. So when you're doing your mortifying, when you're doing your purging and you're doing your cleansing, you have to make sure that you yourself ain't a fornicator. Okay? Read it.
Unclean.
Right. They dealing in uncleanness. They got a lot of ways. That's all. Uncleanness. Come on.
Inordinate affection.
Right. Inordinate affection. They have a lack of self-control. Their affections are not ordinary. Okay. A lot of physical affections, mental spirits that plague them, that got their hormones and they got their mind all out of control. That's the nice way I would put it. Okay. Come on.
Evil concupiscence.
Evil concupiscence. Evil lust. Okay. Evil lust. Destructive lust. They don't care who they hurt. That's what makes it evil. Only thing they concerned about is their own self, their own members, their own lust. They're not concerned. Evil concupiscence. Come on.
And covetousness.
Selfishness.
Which is idolatry.
Which is idolatry. God said, mortify those members. Okay? Come on.
For which things say the wrath of God cometh from the children of disobedience.
So that precept just told you that the Most High is wrathful with people like that does that. Okay? Let's go back. I don't want to keep going with that.
Back to 2nd Ezra, chapter 8.
8 and 13.
In verse 13.
Right.
And thou shalt mortify it as thy creature.
You see that? So now who is this that got mortified? I just told you. No. Us. And we're going to mortify them. So you've been mortified. Okay? Everybody understand that you've been mortified. Today you're the hero. You're the good guy. You're the good gal. You're the good brother and sister. All right? And quickened it as thy work. See that? The Most High quickened us. How does he quicken means to be made alive? Get St. John 6. And show you, I'm not just souping you up. He told us we're doing a good job today. St. John 6 and 63.
The book of St. John, chapter 6 and verse 63. It is the Spirit that quickeneth.
See that? It is the Spirit that quickeneth. So who quickened it, y'all? The Spirit of the Most High did. Okay? By teaching y'all the words. Come on.
The flesh profited nothing.
Right. The flesh ain't going to help you. Come on.
The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
Right. You see that? So you've been speaking. You've been spoken to. The words that's been spoken to you over and over and over have what? Caused your mind to develop, your mind to grow, to gain culture and prosper and everything. Now you have to do what? Make sure that you assume the position of being heroic in somebody's life by setting an example and leading and guiding and teaching them. Okay, so now let's go back.
Back to 2 Ezra, chapter 8, and verse 14. If therefore thou shalt destroy him, which with so great labor was fashioned, it is an easy thing to be ordained by the commandment, that the thing which was made might be preserved.
Right, so that would be us pleading for them, like Ezra pleaded for us. If therefore if thou shalt destroy him that with so great labor was fashioned, because here it is, wasn't they made by the Most High too? Yeah. Where's an example of that? Where is an example in the scriptures of that? I'm going to torment you. Romans 1. You had something?
First Corinthians 10, Romans 1.
What does yours say? Romans 1, verse 16.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Yahweh, for it is the power of Yahweh unto salvation to everyone that believes, to the Jew first and also the Greek.
See that? To Israel that got it first. So when they got it first, when they turned and they looked at the Greek, that Greek was not a Europe, or Caucasian, or Esau. That Greek was Israel that still had that party mentality. That Greek was Israel that still had customs and philosophies in their mind. Like, man, this Roman world is too good. Yeah, like they do sports, right? Like they do sport. They say, man, I like this. You know, it hurts, man, to see to see how men and women prostitute themselves for these people. And you turn on TV, this woman is playing a husband to like 10 different guys. She in like 50 movies. Every movie you see, she got a different husband. She's under the sheets and fornicating and touching. It's like all of the women of Israel, they like, I want to be in Hollywood because I want to stardom. I can be pretty like that too. Plus, by me, I can make money. I can be pretty. I can do this. I can do that. This woman is an abomination, man. You see the men, they don't care. And they always give our men, have them fornicating with and committing adultery and all this stuff with European women, and then they cross-dress them and make them act effeminate and things like that. They turn them gay. They have them kissing other men, playing gay roles, putting on dresses, the whole 9 yards. So Israel is out there like that, even in the streets. But this gospel is to everyone that believes. They're going to receive salvation, because if they believe, they're going to change. Okay? So let's go back. Oh, you wanted to get that one in? Yes, I'm in Corinthians 10. All right.
Back to 2 Ezra, chapter 8.
Where did you stop at? If therefore thou shalt destroy him that with so great labor was fashioned, That's 14. It was an easy thing to be ordained by the commandment that the thing which was made might be preserved. All right. So not only for us, but also for them. Okay. Verse 15.
Verse 15. Now therefore, Lord, I will speak, touching man in general. Thou knowest best, but touching thy people, for whose sake I am sorry, and for thine inheritance, for whose cause I mourn, and for Israel, for whom I am headed, and for Jacob, for whose sake I am troubled.
So this is a cut. This is a cut to a lot of people in Israel because their heart is in the wrong place. When I say their heart is in the wrong place, I'm going to see who's following along by these precepts. What y'all think I mean their heart is in the wrong place? Come on. Now therefore, Lord, I will speak. Touching man in general, thou knowest best. But touching thy people, for whose sake I am sorry, and for thy inheritance, and for whose cause I mourn, and for Israel, for whom I am heavy, and for Jacob, for whose sake I am troubled. What I mean by it, that's a cut.
Right. Because he's basically saying that the nation of Israel, they're supposed to be spiritually living in that which is right.
Okay, stop. No. You, go ahead. You got to talk up.
Is the precept in the same message?
No. Here's the precept here. What is it saying? I said this is a cut. Who is this cut?
Israel.
What do you mean? Explain. You don't know. Nobody knows. Go ahead.
I'm saying that this right here is cutting Israel, talking about the way.
And you don't know. Our people have a love for the nations. They have a love for the nations to where, regardless of what they've done, they seem not to want to leave these heathens behind. They just do not want to part with them. They do not want to sever from these people that mean us no good. They have always been total destruction to us. They have not failed short. They would put us all dead if they could. This is a cut to anybody that's still trying to hold on to us and them being one people, dwelling together. This is a straight cut. Because he said, I'm going to speak, Lord. Touch a man in general. What is man? Any man. You know. You're going to do what you're going to do. You know what's best. That's the way I think. That's the way I feel. But it ain't my will, because if it was my will, which is not, I say every other day, you know what? It would just be so nice if there was no more Edomites ever. That's how horrible they are. But the will of the Most High is like, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to make them pay. They're going to pay. It's going to be, why are you always saying count? It's going to be they're going to get theirs. Don't worry. I don't like them to the point to where if they were all evaporated, just enslave the other ones. But what I don't know, the Most High knows. They've been dirty to us too. So we can't evaporate them all. Just enslave them. So man in general, thou know. But then he turns around. I don't see how y'all didn't catch it. I gave you all the clues in the world. But touching thy people, for whose sake I am sorry. Okay? And for thine inheritance, and for whose cause I mourn. So he's mourning for Israel, man. He ain't mourning for everybody on the planet Earth. And for Israel, and for whom I am heavy, and for Jacob, for whose sake I am troubled. So he's troubled for Jacob's sake. He ain't troubled for everybody. So those people that is troubled and they just have this love for the world, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in such trouble, man, that it's not going to be good for them. You understand? Isaiah 13. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse, we'll get to the point, 15.
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 15.
Oh, stop. Read verse 9, then we'll go over.
Verse 9. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh,
Cool. The day of the Lord. Come on.
both with wrath and fierce anger.
Man, there ain't no reasoning. Ain't no explain. He said with wrath and fierce anger.
To lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
Now jump over to verse 15.
Verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Everyone that is still joined with them gonna fall by the edge of the sword. And this prophecy is talking about America, because when you read the first verse, it tells you that this is what's going to happen to Babylon, the burden of Babylon. Okay? What is it?
And this also, that verse 2 sounds like when the precept in Ecclesiastes said how we.
Let's go back to 2nd Ezra while he got his thoughts. Second Ezra 8. There. Get it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it said how the days would be going, like how you just straight out.
No.
How would be thrust through.
No. Second Ezra, yeah, that's something else. Second Ezra 8:17.
Second Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 17.
You can start at 16. 17 would like in the middle or something. But you understand the difference? Just two different things. You don't have to force it. You don't ever want to force it.
Verse 16. And for thine inheritance, for whose cause I mourn, and for Israel, for whom I am heavy, and for Jacob, for whose sake I am troubled. Therefore will I begin to pray before thee for myself and for them.
Right. So you see how he's caring for himself and for those that he nurture and bring up and is concerned about. Okay. Go ahead.
For I see the fall of us that dwell in the land.
Right. So why do we want to save our people? Because we see the falls of them. We see them falling. We see them hurting themselves. We see the destructiveness of them. And that nobody is saying deliver. Nobody is saying restore. Nobody is saying save. Nobody is saying repent. Nobody is standing up for truth. But that's why the Most High has sent us here. We have to stand up for truth. Okay? Come on.
Verse 18. But I have heard the swiftness of the judge which is to come.
He have heard about the swiftness of the judge. That judge is talking about what? Yahushua. Okay, go to the book of Hebrews. Hebrews 9. Hebrews 9 and 24.
Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 24. For Yahweh is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the truth, but is the heaven itself. Now to appear in the presence of God for us, nor yet that he should offer himself often, as the high priest enters into the holy place every year with blood of others.
Right, so nor yet that he should offer himself often. Why is that? And what does that mean? That he's not going to offer himself often. By that statement being said, that's telling us what? All right, go ahead.
He died once for Israel.
Right, he's not going to come and do it again. He's not going to come and do it again. This time when he comes, it's going to be crude, wrath. It's going to, you've got to already be in a place in your life to where you brought forth fruits that equal repentance, and that you had the victory over sin, and you're redeemable. That's what you got to be in your life. He ain't doing that again to prove no point. Ain't none of that. Okay, we're talking about the judge that Ezra say that he heard about. That's what we're reading about. Okay, come on.
Verse 25. Verse 26. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. But now once in the end of the world hath he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself.
So when Yahushua came, that was considered the end of the world. Okay? That was considered the beginning of the end of the world. Okay? At that point signified that. So since then all open to now. But we actually gonna know when that time comes, when Esau begins to stumble, when Esau begins to fall. Not so much to stumble, but when he is broken, okay, by the Christ, when Yahweh shall return. Okay, come on.
Verse 27. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment.
All right, so Israel is going to die, and then what's going to happen? They're going to be judged. And he saw that. Ezra knew that. He's heard about that. Okay? Mosiah showed him a lot of things. Things that was outright written and spoken and showed, and some things that was sealed. Okay?
Verse 28. So Yahweh was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation.
Right. So we do look. And that judgment, he's going to come. Okay, 1 Peter 1. First Peter 1 and verse 2.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 2. Elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahweh. Grace unto you, and peace be multiplied.
So who is this talking to? Who is this talking to? Huh?
The elect.
It's talking to the elect, right? It's talking to us. Verse 2, elect. It's been talking to you all day. The objective of this class is to build and preserve your confidence and show you that now you take on the place of our foreparents that lived before us. And that was so strong and had strength that they got from Christ and the Most High. And that played heroes in the people's lives. So now, who's going to stand up for what's right? You got to do that. And in order to do that, you got to be preached to. You got to hear about this. And now you've got to understand that when this says elect, this is speaking to you. Because you've got work to do. And the life and the work that you got to do, you got to spend your life doing it. You don't have time to do nothing else but this. So it says, elect according to the foreknowledge of the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit. What is sanctification? Separation and being purified unto obedience. Okay? They did their job now. Now you got to do your job. This is directed to us. All right? This ain't talking about Israel that's in the Greek customs and that don't know. We've got to go and mortify them. They're going to find out through us. It's for them, but we've got to go and give it to them and tell them that the Most High has given them this as an inheritance and a way back to being His people. But because we're reading it, it's talking to us now, and we give it to them. You understand? That's why it says to the Jew first, then the Greek. I showed you that in Romans 1:16. So the Jews got it first, and then they gave it to the Greeks. But they just, well, I don't want to go too far off into it, but you understand? It says unto obedience and sprinkling of what? The blood of Christ. Christ said, hey, I did that once. I'm not doing that thing again. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied. So it's saying, man, I'm hoping well for you. In God's speed, get it done, get it right. Grace unto you. Well, we learned last week how to keep that grace level high. Making sure that you apply the scriptures. And Most High got you covered when you make mistakes. Because He truly know your heart. Verses 3.
Verse 3. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahushua, which according to His abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua from the dead.
His example, come on.
To an inheritance incorruptible.
To an inheritance incorruptible. So the thing that we're going to inherit is never going to be taken away from you. Okay? So all the hatred that we have for Esau and not wanting him to exist anymore, that's how I feel. That's corrected. But the Lord said it ain't going to be incorrupted. Nobody's going to be able to corrupt it. Nobody's going to be able to take it away from us. I'm bitter like that because He has taken away everything. The Lord said that we would discontinue from our heritage. The Lord said He would put a yoke of iron upon our neck, this man, until He has destroyed us. Those things happen. But I also understand that those things happen because our foreparents broke the laws. And that's why we've got to understand that we can't break the laws of the Most High. Because if we do, then we ain't no better than the parents that lived before us. We'll be hypocrites just like them. You know the saying that the fruit don't fall far from the tree. So if you're the fruit of your fathers, and in your times that you had people that was hypocrites, then you want your fruit to fall far from the tree. Yeah, you want it to come down the tree and roll all the way away from the tree. All the way yonder, that's right. To an inheritance incorruptible, go ahead.
And undefiled.
And undefiled. So that's how we to be. That's how we to remain. Because we're doing okay. We have to remain undefiled. How do you remain undefiled? By remembering the words that were spoken unto us. And also remembering that zeal that we had when young in the truth, and we went after the Most High, and you learn that, you learn the truth, you learn I'm an Israelite, and you learn you had to do that. But now, in learning, and now you learn that, okay, you have to always put off things, and now that it's taking time to develop and to change and to grow, and that word we learned today about being reformed, that's something that has to take place. Don't let bitterness come in and defile you, but let the Most High Spirit continue to make us sanctified. You understand? Let that abound in us. So it says undefiled. We have to remain undefiled. Come on.
And that faded not away.
And that faded not away. So don't let it, because our kingdom is not going to fade away. But even before that, the kingdom is inside of us. So don't let those things, those attributes, nor qualities, nor culture. We learned culture, what that was today. Okay? Which has something to do with, y'all should have wrote it down, but it has something to do with manners, and it has something to do with education and development of improvement. All that developmental stages and improvement and teachings and manners, let not those things fade away from you. Okay? Regardless of what you face with, or what you encounter. Don't let none of that tarnish you. Come on.
Reserved in heaven for you.
Right. That inheritance is reserved for us. Verse 5.
Verse 5. Who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation.
Okay, you read kind of. Yeah.
Verse 5. Who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time.
Who are kept by the power of God. That's us. See? These are Israelites that's kept by the power of God. See that? Through what? Through faith. All the way up into the time of redemption. So who gives us our strength to endure? The Most High. And the Lord said that He was going to do what? He's going to reveal you in the last time. He's going to reveal who His people is. So now, you're being put on display every time you wear a board and blue and fringe. Every time you put your head cover on. Every time you wear a dress, and now that's the outward. But then on the inward, when you open your mouth and you say, well, I can't do this because of that, they're going to say, wow, this is a wise and understanding according to the prophecy. In Deuteronomy, what's that, 4 and 6? Yeah, according to the prophecy that they're going to say that. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 4 and 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation, which shall hear all these statutes and say.
When are the nations going to hear the statutes? Not so much as that, not so much as that you teach them, but also if you standing out and you teaching your people, they're going to hear these statutes, okay? Because remember, what part of the body are we? What part of the body are we? We're the breast. That's right. We're the breast. And what comes from the breast? Milk. That's right. You learned that today in 2 Ezra 8. Okay? They shall hear all of this. I lost it, but go ahead.
Which shall hear all these statutes and say.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Another thing When will they hear the statutes? Go ahead.
Christ say every knee shall bow.
No. When are they going to hear the statutes? Go ahead. When you tell them, I don't do that. That's right. You tell them, I don't do that. Yeah, and you explain to them why. I observe the Sabbath day. I can't buy this. I observe the Sabbath day. No, well, I don't want this in my food. Why? Because of that. The law in Leviticus 11. You know, sometimes you go to certain places and they want the women to uncover their heads, and the sister say, no, I don't uncover my head because I'm a Hebrew Israelite. And they say, well, where is that written at? 1 Corinthians 11. I say, wow, I might have to pray. What, I got to have my head uncovered? I can't do that. Your children go to school, and now they're trying to take gym. They say, well, they're going to try and put them in shorts. You say, no, I can't wear that garment. I can only wear a dress or a skirt. You understand? They say, well, what about this or why that? I say, no, it's written in the law. Deuteronomy 22, what's that, 5, right? Yeah. Say, well, hey, they heard all of these things. They say, man, these people are waking up. They know that they're the Israelites. Okay? Come on. Let's go back. They're going to hear it. Come on, let's go back. They don't need it. 1 Peter 1.
Back to 1 Peter, chapter 1.
And verse 5 again.
And verse 5. Who are kept by the power of God, through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time.
Yeah, ready to be revealed. The Most High is ready to reveal His people. Okay? His heroes. His elect. His chosen. His peculiar people. Okay? You was once told you was nothing. What else happened unto us? And they did, get this, Isaiah, no, in the place where it was told, yeah, is that it? Get it in.
The book of Hosea, chapter 1, and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Verse Hosea 1 and 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
You see that? Read it again.
Verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
Why are you told you are not the people of the Most High? Right here. Because you were told that you was all different type of Indians and Mexicans and niggas and Africans and everything but the people of the Lord. Everything but Hebrew Israelites. That's why you take that and you wear that crowd. You wear that with your head up in the air. You be confident. You have integrity. Okay? You don't drop your head. What's that movie? Remember, one day I got to control myself. I almost had a fit. Somebody told this brother he wasn't no Israel. He wasn't the real Jew. The way I slapped my head around, like, what? They was like, oh, they should have told that to him. I was like, nah, brother, you right. How they gonna tell you that, brother? You are the real Jews. We are the people of Israel. What the heck they talking about? That lifted that man's spirit up for somebody to take up for him like that. Okay? No, you don't never hold your head down. You are the people of God. Come on.
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
That's right. We are the sons. And all you women, you are the daughters of the living God. Okay? Go ahead, Anna.
Verse 11. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together.
That's right, because we're teaching each other. We are teaching each other. Come on.
And appoint themselves one head.
One head, and that head is who? Yahushua. Okay, that's who that one head is, Yahushua. Come on.
And they shall come up out of the land.
Right, and they're going to come up out of the land. Okay, so let's go back.
Back to 1 Peter chapter 1.
Verse 6.
And verse 6. Wherein he greatly rejoiced.
So you should be happy. You getting this knowledge. You getting this understanding. You getting this education. Okay? Rejoice.
Though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations.
Right. Why are you in heaviness through manifold temptations? Because although you get the good news, you still got to deal with the abominations that you see. You still have to live in an environment that's full of oppression. And you still have to have what they call growing pains. Okay, we still are subject to tests and trials, adversity and affliction, grief and sorrow. Okay, we have to continue to apply the scriptures and go right back inside of us and get the strength that brought us here. Okay, which helped us to be the person that we are. And we'll be able to endure. We'll be able to continue. You don't look for something new. You go back and get something old. You go back and get the teachings of the Christ that's inside of you. That's why these things, they're supposed to be in your mind. And these commandments which I teach you shall be where? In thy heart. They're supposed to be in your heart because you're going to need those things. You're going to need those things when you're in heaviness and when you're in manifold temptations. Different and diverse temptations. You're going to need all of these teachings of the Most High that Yahushua put into your heart. Okay? Come on.
Verse 7. That the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perishes.
Right. So it's much more precious. So when the Most High is building or putting you through certain things, that doesn't mean, okay, the Most High hate you and he's just going to torment you and he's going to take you through hell. No, the Most High has love for you. He said that the trying of your faith is much more precious than silver and gold. Okay, a lot of us sometimes issue, man, you might get deceived into thinking that you're not worth anything. Because you don't have clothes, you don't have a car, you don't have an apartment, you don't have money, you don't have a savings, you don't have a bank account. And man, I sure do have a lot of hell that I'm catching. Man, I'm just not worth anything. You get that out of your head. You're the sons and daughters of the living God. You are worth more than that gold. Okay? You're worth more than that gold. Go ahead.
Though it be tried with fire.
Although you be tried with fire, man. You ever had something that was too hot? It burned. It hurt. A blister. Something, although the Most High, man, take you through certain things that hurt you. You understand? Most High take you through certain things that hurt you so that you can be reformed. So it will be smart from one prince to the next, from one prince to the princesses that's sitting amongst me and that's listening. It'd be smart that if you take the reproof and the redirection, humble yourselves to avoid things being worse. Because the Most High, He tries with fire. And it doesn't get easier if you fail. It gets harder. And it keeps coming, too. And sometimes we wonder, When is it going to be up? When is it going to be over? Well, we can definitely do away with it when we apply the scriptures. So we have to apply the scriptures and we have to forsake it. We have to give in. Remember how we went over just give up and give in?
Yeah.
How many of us listen to that? You know, you just, and y'all know what I mean by give up and give in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You got to stop sinning. And, you know, when you stop sinning, then the thing between you and the Most High, man, Most High, you'll stop offending. And when you stop offending, there's no reason for him to chastise you. But he'll chastise and scourge you to make you turn from your ways. You got to be somebody that's coachable, somebody that's, you know, teachable and guidable, instructable. Okay? Come on.
Might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua.
So all of these things happen that we might be found unto praise. Somebody could say something good about you. Okay? A good report. And then you could be honored. Okay? It's like a graduation. Okay? Instead of, what's that song? What is it? Pomp and Circumstance. What's the name of that? Is that it? That they play at the graduation songs. Y'all understand what I'm saying? It's a song. What's the name of it? Pomp and Circumstance or something. Instead of that, some of y'all ain't graduated in so long you don't forget. Instead of that, I honor. You know what's going to be? Wow, wow. It's going to be a shout. Just think, when all our foreparents, man, when they had the victory, they shouted. Hey, so you read the scriptures, man, y'all got to start seeing in detail. They shouted with a loud shout. They was happy. And when this thing is over, whether Israel is alive or we back in our resurrection, we resurrect, Israel's going to have to rejoice, baby. We're going to rejoice. We're going to rejoice. Israel is going to feel honor. Because we're going to taste that victory. And we're going to taste victory. Okay? So praise and honor and glory. Okay? We ain't looking for no more loans. We ain't looking for nothing but highness, royalty. We're going to own it. We're going to be the po-po. We're going to be the feds. You understand? We're going to have the power and authority and dominion. What y'all think this is going to be? You understand? We're going to have this. We're going to be the officers. Whatever the Most High going to have us to call it, we're going to be the governed, ruling body in total control. It ain't no sharing, nothing. It ain't no mixing. No. They're going into the field, and we don't want to hear nothing else. So that glory is given to us. It says, at the appearing of the Christ. How shall I show up? That's the life that y'all going to have. But now, you got to do the work. You got to get your grind on. You got to get your study on. You got to get your mind wrapped around this, young prince. Y'all got to get it together. You got to keep it together. Okay, come on, it's more.
Verse 8. Whom having not seen, ye love.
Yeah, you ain't seen the Christ. You ain't seen Yahushua, but you love. And why? And what makes you love him? Because at different points and times in your life, you called out. And you might not be able to completely explain it to others, but you know that there's something else other than you. You know that there's a God. Okay? And that's why you have love. And if you haven't had that experience, hold on, wait for it. It's coming. Do the right thing. And you'll be able to see. I've been dealing with this God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob since I was a child. And you can't take that away from me. You can't tell me that it's not real. Because there's too many things that has happened that's beyond flesh. Wait for yours, and it'll happen. Come on.
In whom, though now ye see him.
No.
Not yet believing.
No, stop. In whom, though now ye see him not. Because we don't see him.
Oh, okay.
Yet believing. So we continue to believe. Come on, start from there.
Yet believing, ye rejoice.
You rejoice. Come on.
With joy unspeakable and full of glory.
I told you. What did I say? I said you might not be able to explain it to others what you've been through. And can't nobody take that away from you. Even if you tried, you'd only appear to be full of incredulity. Incredulity is the
The host has joined the conference.
Okay. So in 1 Peter 1 and 8 says, you rejoice with joy unbelievable. Okay. So although we have not talked, seen, we still believe. Okay. And we rejoice with joy unbelievable. Okay. Certain things happen to us. Unspeakable. That's what I mean by it. It says, with joy unspeakable. Certain things you might not be able to explain. You can't put it into words. Things that obviously the Most High has done. And although you try and speak on it, it still remains hard to define or hard to completely explain to others to where you're not really sure what has happened to them in their life. But the Most High has a way of dealing with man and blessing man and showing man that, you know what, I'm here for you. I got you. I'm here with you. I'm going to help you. I'm taking you through this, but at the same time, I'm bringing you up out of certain things. And then when nothing else fails and now the Savior comes through, you know that Savior is not man, but that Savior is God. Okay. And then what? It's full of glory. Okay, Most High gets the praise for that work. Come on.
Verse 9. Receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your soul.
So at the end of it, you receive the saving of your soul. So when you resurrect on that day, and the Christ tells you, well done, good job, you know at that time that you found favor, that the Most High approves of it. And now he allowed Christ to tell you, you go in that direction there, enter into your rest. And that's when it begins, the rest of your life of immortality.
Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you, searching what or what manner of time the Spirit of Yahushua, which was in them, did signify.
So even the prophets themselves, they looked for, they hoped for, they desire So when you read the Old Testament, all of those men, they desired the same thing. And they even searched for it, on how to make sure that they did the right thing. So all the steps that you got to take, that we've got to take, they did the same thing. And they also prophesied of that grace that was going to come to us, meaning they prophesied and they taught that the Most High would come and he would relieve us and redeem us and care for us. Searching what and what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify. What does that tell you in verse 11, that precept right there? That they had the Spirit of Christ in them. When it testified beforehand the sufferings of Christ. So they foretold that Christ would suffer. They had the Spirit of Christ. That's a cut to all Messianic people. Non-Messianic, that's what I mean. That's a cut to all non-Messianic people. You got people that don't believe in Christ. In their mind, they think that the New Testament is plagiarized and that the Europeans got something to do with it. When they just, they wrong. I'm going to say it like that. They wrong. Because like the scriptures say, the prophets, they even prophesied about Christ and they had the Spirit of Christ on them.
And the glory that should follow, unto whom it was revealed, that not unto themselves, but unto us they did minister. The ministers of things, which are reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven.
So it's telling you that the prophets had the Holy Ghost. Come on. Which things
the angels desire to look into. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind.
So I want you to stop. Because here's something else. This is for us. It says which things the angels desire to look into. What things are those? Let me get a conference call. Searching what or what manner of time the Spirit of Christ which was in them, talking about the prophets, did signify. So they prophesied about Christ. We know that when it signified beforehand the sufferings of Christ and the glory that should follow, the glory that was going to follow was Israel was going to come back into the Most High, unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves. So it was revealed not only to the prophets, but unto who? Peter's talking about him and the disciples, and now us in these days, they did minister to things. So the apostles, they learned from the prophets, which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into. What things do the angels desire to look into? A conference caller.
The gospel of the Holy Ghost that was sent down from heaven.
It's going into the angels wanting to come down and do the same type of work.
Exactly. It's going into the angels wanting to preach the gospel. It says, which are reported now to you by them that have preached the gospel. They have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost. So they had the Holy Ghost that was sent down from heaven, from the Most High. The angels. It said, which things the angels desire to look into. The angels themselves. So you brothers and sisters, y'all got a job to do, and y'all don't really realize that the Most High has angels that want to do what you're doing. Get the book of Revelations. Chapter 5. and 11.
Revelation chapter 5 and verse 11. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beast, and the elders.
Okay, please. One more time. Slow it down a little bit.
Revelation chapter 5 and verse 11. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beast, and the elders.
All right, so in the spirit, John said he saw many angels around the throne. He said he saw beasts and he saw elders around the throne of God. So we cannot. Why would we not think that there are people that's right there with the Most High that's looking down or that's able to see and say, hey, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll go and teach. Yeah. So this thing that you have, man, you got people, you got angels that want to look and do what you're doing. It's this person's time. It's this person's chance. Let me give them a chance to work out their salvation. Let me see what they're gonna do. So for all of you like that got that mindset, like put me in, coach. Guess what? The coach have put you in. You already in. What you gonna do with it? You in the game and don't really realize it. Don't get distracted. Play the game. Okay? You in already. Let's get one more. You can finish this.
Okay. And the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands.
So the number of them was what?
10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands.
10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands. And just imagine all of those people, all of those angels. How many of them are you thinking saying, "Let me go and do it. Let me go. I'll do it. Let me go and do it." I ain't gonna, Hey, give 1 Kings 22. 1 Kings 22, verse 19.
1 Kings chapter 22 and verse 19. And he said, "Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord said, Who shall persuade Ahab, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this man, and another said on that man."
So the Lord said, who's going to go up? All right, so he said, "Hear therefore the word of the Lord, and I saw the Lord sitting on his throne." Okay? This Micaiah. So he said that he saw people standing on the left hand and on the right hand. And the Lord said, "Who shall persuade Ahab that he will go up?" So now the angels are in the spirit form. And they're standing on both sides, all around the Lord. They want to do this. But this mission here is a mission not so much as a mission to where they're going to do what we're doing, but this is a mission. This is another mission. This is a mission to where, since the king of Israel won't listen, Ahab, since he won't listen, God the Most High is going to send a spirit to make him fall so that he could make the mistake of continuing to not listen and get himself killed. So one said, I'll do it. The point is, there are people at the throne of God that want to do this. I just showed you that there were people there, and I just showed you that there are some that's saying, hey, send me. And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab, I'm in verse 20, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? So they're going to go to war. And one said on this manner and another on that manner. They trying to get here. They trying to pick all these different ways to say, hey, let me get here. And there came forth a spirit that stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said to him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lion spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him. The Lord said, that's going to work, because he likes to hear what he wants to hear. Yeah, you do that. And prevail also. Go and do so. Now therefore behold, the Lord hath put a lion spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets. And the Lord hath spoken evil concerning me. So now let's go back. So for those of you that don't know what that means is, the Most High allowed this man Ahab to do what he do. And what's that? Not listening to what's right, but listen to what's wrong. And because he have a habit of listening to the wrong thing, which is lies, that will never cost him his life. Oh, and he died. He died. So that spirit that was in the heaven with the Most High allowed it to come here, to the earth, and get inside of people and change their mouth into something that Ahab wanted to hear. So y'all take it. So we have to take advantage of this work that we do. This is a blessing. This is how we work out our salvation. This is how we prove that when the Most High give us immortality, we show him what type of person we're going to be. Obedient or disobedient. If you're disobedient now, just imagine the Most High give you immortality. Now you somebody that cannot be faded, nor you know what you look like. You would look like a person would look like you know how Esau make his villains, his superheroes. You know, they got superpower and they running around rebellious. They're flying through the air, through buildings and all that kind of stuff, robbing banks and stealing and doing whatever they want to do and killing people. Right. Can't be like that. So if you're going to be obedient, now, then you'll be obedient then. If you're disobedient now, then you will be disobedient then. There's no way that you would think that oh, well, he got to change. He's trying to change you now. He's trying to change you now by telling you what to do. And it gets difficult. The level does not stay the same. The level does not stay the same. It gets difficult. You know what you got to do? You gotta have a forbearing, tolerant spirit to where you're gonna continue to go through it. Suffer long, keep learning, rely on what you know, and humble yourself to learn. Okay? So now we're going to go back.
Back to 1 Peter, chapter 1,
verse 13.
Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind.
So because you know this, that means gird up the loins of your mind. Okay? Gird up means to strengthen. Strengthen and surround the thoughts in your mind. Because what are the thoughts in our mind? That we could, maybe be partial or double-minded, waver, or slowful, slow to move, slow to react, slow to repent, slow to turn. No. It says, because you know these things, gird up the loins of your mind. Come on.
Be so.
Right, don't be stupid. Be wise. Don't give up. Who wants to give your ticket up? Okay, who wants to give? The chariots are coming. The chariots of Israel are coming. You've got one ticket. Who wants to give that ticket up to somebody else? You're going to the kingdom. Who wants to give you? You want to give it? Well, then don't. You got to be sober then. Because breaking the laws is giving your ticket up. You don't want to do that. It ain't going to be no European school system there. Ain't no more of that. We're going to teach them. Did y'all know that? That's right. We're going to teach them. Where's that?
Isaiah 2 and 1 through 4.
Yeah, that's right, Doc.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 2, and verse 1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountain, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways.
See that? So no more us going to school. We're going to teach them the ways of God. Come on.
And we will walk in his path.
That means they're going to keep the commandments. For out of Zion.
For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
That's right. So everybody see that? Okay. Yeah. How do we know that that's not down? Because Israel is bringing heathens into the congregation now. It's not now. It's then. Read the next verse.
Verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations.
Are we judging among the nations now? The answer is no. Read it.
And shall rebuke many people.
Come on.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares.
That's right. Into work instruments. Are they beating their swords, meaning their guns and stuff, into plowshares? The answer is no. No, they're not doing that. Come on.
And their spears into pruning hooks.
Come on.
Nation shall not lift up sword against nation.
The nations are still fighting each other. Come on.
Neither shall they learn war anymore. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
Okay. So that's going to happen then, at that time, not now. Heathen should not be in your bodies, in your congregations. So where we stop at?
Back to 1 Peter chapter 1.
Verse 13, right.
In verse 13. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind.
Therefore gird up the loins of your mind. So we're saying that into reference to, hey, make sure that you understand the job that you have to do. Get your mind together. Wrap your mind around what you need to be doing. Okay. Go ahead.
Be sober.
Be sober, meaning don't be ignorant. You got a job to do. Don't give your number up. Be sober. Be smart. Be wise. Don't be asleep. A little slumber, go to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. Okay, you stay woke. Because you got a salvation that you got an inheritance that you're trying to make sure that you get there. Okay, come on.
In hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh.
And hope unto the end that you make it. Come on.
As obedient children.
As obedient children. See, act obedient. Like, remember what was said. If you are disobedient now, the Most High know that you will be disobedient then. But if you're obedient now, which you all are, today we're heroes. Today is your day. Remain like this. If you're obedient now, then he can trust you with this, and you're going to be obedient what? You'll be obedient then. As obedient children, come on.
Not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance.
Not going back. See that? Not going back. Come on.
But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
In everything that you do. That's the decision that we have all made. Come on.
Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
Be ye holy as I am holy. That's the same thing as Matthew 5:48 about being perfect. Okay? So we got to remain perfect by making sure that every day we do what we believe. Okay? Which is applying the word of the Most High. Verse 17.
Verse 17. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judge it according to every man's work.
Right, because the Most High is not going to judge you according to what you look like. Okay? He's going to judge you based on the things that he delivered unto you, the things that he gave unto you. He's not going to judge you based on the number of years that you've been in. That's why the Christ told us about that we all working for the same penny. You understand? He's going to judge a righteous judge. He's not going to have respect of persons. Come on.
Pass the time of your sojourning here in fear.
Pass the time of your life here in fear. That means that we're supposed to be fearing the Most High. I don't want to do the wrong thing. And so since you don't want to do the wrong thing, then that means that you need to do what? The right thing. Okay? The only thing, you got time for nothing else but to live. You got time for nothing else but to live. This ain't time for us to try and reign like kings and for us to do all of that. No. You got time only to live. So spend the time of your sojourning here, what? In the fear of the Most High. Come on.
Verse 18. For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation received by the tradition from your fathers.
Quick example. When our people get lured away into sin, into some type of lifestyle, they go after it because they think that, it's all about the money. I'm making money. But no, the Most High He didn't redeem us with silver and gold. Okay? Verse 19.
Verse 19. But with the precious blood of Yahweh, as a lamb without blemish and without spot.
Right, but with the precious blood, meaning the life of Christ. You understand? He showed us how to be better people. We are people with a conscience. We are not heartless people. Our hearts are made of flesh. We have been reproved. We have been reformed. We have changed. And what helped us change? That life of Christ. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 20.
And before you go, when it comes to morals, we have morals. We have not sold out. You can't buy us with gold and silver. Because if that was the case, all of us would be someplace else doing something different, talking about, I got to get some money. So it's not about that. We're sober. It's about this kingdom that we're trying to get to. We are the smart ones, believe it or not. We are labeled most likely to do what? Succeed. We're labeled, that's right, brother. We're labeled most likely to succeed because we are the elect. We're the sons and daughters of the Most High. We are the help that the Most High sent to the earth. We are the welfare system, and this nation is full of all heroes. Okay, come on.
Verse 20. Who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you, who by him do believe in God, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in God.
Verses 20 says, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world. So Christ was. Christ was chosen and elected by the Most High to be who he was to the nation of Israel, to us, but was manifested in the last times for us, okay, for a reason, because it was to set an example and cleanse us, cleanse our life. It says, who by him do believe in God. So we, by Christ, believe in who? Believe in the Most High, okay, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that our faith and hope might be in the Most High. Come on.
Verse 22. Seeing ye have purified your souls in obeying the truth.
Okay, stop. Saying that we have did that, saying that we have purified our souls, that we believe in the Most High, and that we believe in Christ, the very next step is very vital. So make sure that you pay attention to it. Come on.
Through the Spirit, unto unfeigned love of the brethren.
So now it has to lead to unfeigned love of the brethren. So that if you believe in God, you have to believe in Christ. And if you have did that, now you got to have unfeigned love for the brother. That means that it cannot be phony. It cannot be fake. It cannot be. It can't be. It can't have blemishes. It's got to be real love. Okay, it's got to be real love. See that you purify your souls in obeying the truth unto unfeigned love of the brother. That's what has to happen. It has to. It's got to constantly grow and grow and grow. See, the Most High is asking our mind for that seed now to be a tree. It has to, it has to become a tree of life. You understand? And so it has to have been evolved from one thing to the next. Because we didn't really know, none of us, if you think about it, you believed in God, but you didn't know how to serve your God until the Most High introduced you into his Son, the Christ. And learning about Christ, Christ taught you how to now serve your God. And so now that you know how to serve your God, the Lord said, don't leave your brother out. You go back and you get him. And seeing that you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren. See that you do what?
Love one another.
See that you love one another. Go ahead.
With a pure heart.
Right, with a pure heart.
Fervently.
Fervently means burning, passionately, sincere. Make sure that it's genuine. And how do you make sure that it's authentic or that it's genuine and that it doesn't go wrong? Through correction. So that you continue to be like-minded, having the same love one for another by saying, nah, brother, don't do that. But when a brother is telling you, no, don't do that, are you supposed to keep doing it? No, because what happens if you keep doing it? Huh? What happens if you keep doing it? You fall? No, you ain't going to fall. You're going to be hated. It's a proverb.
(17 and 9).
Is that it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Proverbs 17 and 9. Thank you.
Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 9. He that covers a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeated a matter separated very friends.
Right, so if you continue to do the same thing over and over and over, then you're going to separate. That word very means it's like be close, even close friends. Even close friends to be separated. You understand that? So you can't be in a situation to where one person trying to love you and another person is just still doing the same old thing over and over and over again. That's not going to work. What the scriptures tell us about how do we get it to work? Agreeing. Right? He that about walking together. Can two walk together? Yeah, can two walk together except they agree? So you got to agree, man. You got to agree that this is crazy. Knock it off. And sometimes we might not think that what we're doing is crazy. So every case ain't the simplest. It ain't the simplest, but it ain't mission impossible either, right? Missions, that all things are possible through Christ. So let's finish up.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 23.
Right.
Being born again.
Right, being born again. So when we learn to love the Most High and obey to the purifying of our spirit and soul that leads to unfeigned love of the brethren, that's called being born again. Come on.
Not of corruptible seed.
Not of that way of life that the world is talking about.
But of incorruptible. By the word of Yahweh.
Meaning according to the scriptures.
Which lives and abides forever.
So the scriptures, it lives and it has always been around, and it is always going to be around. Okay? Nothing is never going to change. Even in our kingdom, we still going to have the scripture. Because now we're going to teach the world how to walk in the ways of the Most High. Okay? So, I guess that's it. You can finish it, though.
Verse 24. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as a flower of grass.
So it's telling you that all flesh is as grass, because what happens? Grass don't always stay green. Grass, man, sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it's pretty. So grass can be flesh will be destroyed like grass. And the glory of man as the flower of grass. Okay? Like say for instance, if there be one stiff neck amongst the people, the Lord said, man, it's astonishing. I said, if there be one stiff neck amongst the people, there may be one that think he's going to get away with it. It's a marvel if he go unpunished. You can't marvel the Most High. Nobody, even if there's one amongst the people, man, he going to get away with it. Nobody's going to get away with it. So even if there's the one stiff neck, you say, man, I got this car, I got a job, I got this money, I got the house, I got my wife, I got this, I got that. What need I? So in all the glory of man is the flower. What's going to happen? It says the grass withered and the flower thereof fell. It falleth away. So we end up losing all of that stuff. And although it takes time sometimes for people to be brought down low, surely they don't escape. They don't escape this judgment. But this is what we're trying to continue to make sure we avoid by staying true to the scriptures. Verse 25.
Verse 25. But the word of the Lord endureth forever. And this is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you.
Right. So, and whoever have the word of the Most High inside of them, this word of the Most High is going to preserve you. This is what preserves you, the word of the Most High. So if you want to last and you want to endure, keep up the good work. Keep doing the word of the Most High. Keep applying it. Keep believing in it and teach others. Because it's going to be able to help you, and it's also going to be able to help them that hear you too. Okay, so that's it. Shalom. Matthew 26. Matthew 26 and verse 6. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box, a very precious ornament, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ornament might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Christ understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought the good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this of this woman be told for a memorial of her. So comfort for his burial during his time of agony, and also setting a beautiful example of humility, because at some point in time she had heard the preaching of Yahushua and thought upon her ways and went and sought him out and found him and brought forth a broken and contrite heart, which the Lord said that he don't despise. So that's acceptable unto the Most High for a person to think upon their ways and then seek repentance and seek forgiveness, to the point to where Christ had to tell her that her sins are forgiven. Okay, and she wasn't even afraid to do it, because the disciples was there and Simon was there, a tanner. Okay, a Pharisee. So the Lord's communion. St. John 6. St. John 6 and 53 says, Now Yahushua said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, except you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood have eternal life, and I will rise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. As the living Father hath sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me. This is that bread which came down from heaven. So Yahushua is explaining himself and declaring himself to be the bread of life that had come down from the Father. And saying that the blood that he spilled represents, his life in the truth, okay, along with his flesh. Okay, so that when you read verses 59, 58, it says, This is that bread which came down from heaven. So that understanding on how the children of Israel should live. 1 Corinthians 11. And 23. For I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that in my shot Yahweh shot the same night in which he was betrayed took bread, and when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also, he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. So I noticed that I know other brothers that teach the scriptures in other places that I think they cut the communion out at the end of the classes and not record them or things like that. This prayer and communion is not for vainglory or anything, but it's just for a learning and teaching lesson and example for those that call in on conference or others that might see the videos and things like that. So this is commanded by Yahushua for Israel to break bread. So I'm hoping that wherever you at, that you picking this up, whether you listen to the recordings or you see in classes or you calling in the conference. When you read the same chapter in verse 24, it says, when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. So Yahushua said, do this in remembrance of him. So the objective is for this example, just like it's written in the scriptures, for it to be lived out. Everything that the Christ said to do, that's what Israel is to do. When you read the next verse, after the same manner he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, and my blood. This do ye, he said it again. This do ye, as oft as ye drink it, in remembrance of me. As often as you eat this bread and you drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till I come. So Christ is saying, show his death. Show his life inside of you until he comes. All right? So, that's it. Most high in the name of Christ, thank you for the food, drink, amen. This is body which is broken for you. This is blood. All right, let's go.